Hello, welcome to Home for the Table.
I want you guys to hear what Kim just told me.
I said Jon is beautiful, no matter what size.
She pulled a production note
mental
straight
state
out
that he's
of
in.
a classic RuPaul. What did you say?
So, anyways.
If it's not recording, it doesn't count.
That's actually like a RuPaul quote, I think.
Isn't it? I thought so. Like if the camera isn't running, it doesn't matter or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Look at that. You're learning, growing.
Uh-huh.
She'll be fracking next.
Whoa. I need land first. I don't own a single piece of land anywhere.
That's true. You can't frack on a lease.
Uh-huh. Could you imagine if you're like a landlord and you found out your tenant has been like fracking your...
What do you know about these mineral rights?
It's like not only they're squatters, but they're also fracking in my own land.
Oh my God, it's too funny. Anyways, as I was about to show you, and I'm going to hold these up to the camera so Kim can see, look what's in season right now.
Oh, those look pretty. What is that?
These are Rainer cherries from Michigan.
Oh, nice.
And they are so good and so expensive. Oh my God.
Why is it so expensive?
Well, first of all, Rainer cherries are notoriously harder to grow because they're more delicate, and because they are so delicious, birds generally eat like half, I think, of them before they even get picked.
Oh.
So like I think a bag of those is like anywhere from like $11 to $22 for like a pound.
Oh, that is pretty pricey.
That is for a bag of cherries. Mm-hmm. So like, I am savoring the hell out of these because they're so good. But yeah,
instead of just swallowing, you put one in your mouth and you chew it, you swirl it around your tongue, and then swallow.
I don't know. It's just like they look, if you haven't seen them, you can Google what they look like, but they're beautiful. They're like a little bit yellow, a little bit peachy on the outside. And they taste like they look compared to regular cherries. They just taste brighter, juicier, sweeter, a little more tart. Whereas like the regular red cherries, they kind of like, I don't know, they taste muted in comparison. Not in a bad way. I still enjoy regular cherries, but these are like a special treat.
Those almost look like, have you ever seen those Asian candy? Just like a white peach candy?
Yes.
And it looks just like that. Yes, it's like round.
Have you had one of these before? You live in Michigan. Of course you had a Rainer cherry.
If they're that expensive, I doubt it. Because
you can't get these in, I'm sure you can get these in California too.
Well, California, we get cherries, but they're like bright red, like the deep red cherries.
Yeah. Yeah, these don't make, I bet you these don't make it far. But I showed you as a lover of stone fruit.
You got to give it up to Michigan and its fruits and produce.
Michigan, well, I was about to say, don't sleep on our apples, but my favorite apple is from Washington State now, so.
For once, I try to praise Michigan, and here you are just veering right off.
Huh?
You have to give it to the Washington instead.
I know. Well, nothing you say about Michigan is sincere, so.
I literally just said a sincere thing about Michigan. Saying like the fruits and the produce is off the hook, and you're like, I'm sorry.
Sure, Kim.
Washington gets that one.
Sure, Kim.
I love Michigan produce. Anyways, the self-loading Michigander right over there. Welcome to our podcast, One for the Table.
Oh yeah, I'm John Kang.
I'm Kim Chi. And hopefully our sound quality should be a lot better this week. Last week it was like potato quality because my microphone wasn't working. But
was it really that bad? Because it sounded fine to me here, but I'm guessing it just didn't sound good after it's been.
Yeah, you should do this thing where you maybe just check on the podcast.
I have faith in us. I have faith in us.
No, you don't. You don't even believe in your own home state that you supposedly preach for.
Michigan is great.
You don't even believe in yourself.
How are you ever gonna believe in anybody else?
What? What quote is that?
I don't know. We're just like pretending RuPaul said stuff now.
Oh. Yeah, can you believe all the shit that RuPaul said? I'm kidding. Don't take the bit and take it out of context.
Yeah, you're still not sure about the next All-Stars, huh?
I will kill you. You're still not sure about all the press opportunities you've gotten.
Wait, what press opportunities?
Chopped?
We know that's never going to happen. I'm never going to do that.
Exactly.
I'm never going to do Chopped.
Exactly. So zip it.
Unless
Zip it, gay.
If you want to do like an I will if you will.
I would do it.
No. I mean, like if I do a show, you'll go back for an All Stars.
Honestly, no. Maybe. Yes.
If it's like Kim's like, if you do a Fear Factor.
Well, honestly, the current season looks fun. I don't know. I don't know if you're opposed to it.
To be quite honest, like, it does look fun. It does. It looks like they are having fun.
Although, I mean, they've asked me back for every All Stars except for this one, which is a non-elimination one.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, like,
do they just want an excuse to kick you out?
I was gonna have they just wanted to eliminate me this whole time? You know,
put Kim in our place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start that campaign.
No.
Hashtag get Kim eliminated.
Anyways, this is not a Drag Race podcast. This is a podcast where we discuss food.
Yes, it's true.
So, do you have anything interesting that you ate this past week?
I know when we met before last week, I was going to talk to you about something, and you said to save it for the podcast, and now I don't remember what it is. Yeah, because we met up yesterday on this Zoom thing. It's not Zoom, but it's a Zoom thing, and Kim's microphone wasn't working. And
so what happens when you're older? You just keep forgetting things.
I mean, it's just so much stuff happens.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep track. I don't know if it's the thing that I was going to tell you, but it is an interesting thing that I kind of like made a meal based around, it wasn't like really inspired by any Korean dish, but it was inspired by like the multiple experiences I've had at different Korean restaurants where they're like really good at building on top of what you're eating. So you know how we go to like a hot pot and they turn like your hot pot soup into a congee, and then we go to like another like that what's it called, the K barbecue place for the that specialized in intestine, but then they turn like that stuff into and then they turn something into fried rice later. Yeah. So like I was like, oh, I want to do something where I kind of like build on top of something.
Well, so in Korea, they basically consider it like fried rice a dessert.
That's so cool. That's amazing.
Whenever there's like a grill, chances are whatever other ingredients that's left, they'll just like throw it all together and then just turn it into fried rice.
That is, I mean,
and that is our dessert.
That's obviously like it's based off of history and scarcity and just turning it into something like really delicious and fun. But like, I really like that. I think it's like, I think I don't know. It's so well rounding on a meal. So basically I made like this, I started off making a soup. A really, really like thick broth using broth that I had made from, I keep forgetting names of stuff that I did. Langsap. I used the leftover broth that I made from Langsap before. And I just started like cooking like thin strips of meat, kind of like hot pot style, but in the main broth, but not overcooking it too much. And then setting them aside, cook some Chinese meatballs in there, and then set it aside, and then put each one of those meatballs and sliced beef into a bowl with some rice, and just had those on the side, and had the big bowls of broth for us to drink. So we started off with a soup, and I told Lil Jon, I was like, oh, once you're like halfway done, put the rest of that like rice and the meatballs and the other stuff in, and just like mix it all together. So it's like, cause just kind of like building off one of each other, but having everything like be from each other. It was so hearty and satisfying.
It sounds really good.
It was really, really good. I was just reusing, like, I was just trying to use up stuff before we went on our trip.
Yeah, I guess because like a lot of Asian dishes, because there's like a broth involved or something like that, there's always easy to find ways to like build off of it.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas supposed to like a lot of Western cuisine, you know, like if you eat a bowl of pasta, all right, What are you gonna do after?
What are you? What else is there?
Yeah.
And I think like starting off with a big bowl of broth is super filling. Oh my gosh, we were so full by the end. We wanted to go for ice cream afterwards, and I was like, I'm too full for ice cream. It's like, yep, me too.
You and Little John turned down ice cream?
We were so full.
Oh
we were
God.
so full. It was a big. So it was, imagine like a ramen bowl, and it was like full of soup. But it was like a thin and light, delicious broth that was like, we were happy to drink. But then after we had mixed like the rice thing, which I did your rice mixture idea thing as well, the one that the Korean moms talked about.
Oh, so sorry to totally be random.
Yeah.
But I forgot about this. Yesterday, someone who like listens to our podcast, was talking to me about the podcast, and they're like, I didn't know you and John were such good friends with Little John. And I was like, what do you mean like such good friends?
Oh my God.
And then I found out this whole time when we talked about Little John on this podcast, he thought we were talking about the rapper.
Oh, whoever you are, bless your heart. That's amazing.
Could you imagine what
Yeah.
Just us just randomly hanging out with Little John, the rapper.
That would be so great. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I can totally understand maybe like if they didn't understand the context, like how they could,
right. So Little John, for those who don't know, is my fiance. He's not the rapper, and we call him that because he is shorter than me by a lot, and we're both named John. So it is purely functional.
I don't think he's that much shorter than you. Wait to label his physical appearance like that.
I mean, I think he's either 4 or 5 inches shorter than me. So it's like,
that's not that short in the grand scheme of things.
Close to half a foot. So,
wow, not you calling you half a foot.
Whatever. If Kim stood on one end and Little John stood at the other end, we'd look like Russian nesting dolls. So.
We can create a band called Small, Medium, and Large.
Small, Medium, and Large. No, we need like one person in between Little John and me, because Little John is like the kids' meal. It is crazy too, because like I'm 6 feet, but when I'm hanging out with Kim and like not even most of Kim's, says almost all of Kim's like good close friends, I'm oftentimes the shortest person in the group.
Yeah.
Like that one time when we went to the escape room, and it was you, me, Naomi, Josh, and Eric.
Yeah.
And like every single one of you were like, I think you were the second shortest person. Which is wild, because you're 6'4"?
6'3".
6'3"?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then finally when we got there and Diana was waiting there, I was like, oh my God, thank God.
One of us. Although I think if you Google my height, it says 6'4", which I think why a lot of people think I'm like, 6'4". I don't know where 6'4" came from. And then there was a point where you used to say I was 7 foot, because like in interviews and stuff, I would joke about like I'm a 7 foot tall drag queen, like
because you're 7 feet in heels. Yeah.
But then someone on Wikipedia put my height as like 7 feet. So then people thought I was like this like really, really massive giant.
She buys her like costume fabric from the curtain section.
Yeah. And then it got changed, but it's still like a wrong height. So, but I guess it's better to be known as like being overly tall than shorter than you actually are.
Google my height.
John Kong height.
Not enough people ask. There's no answer. It just directs them to my. Oddly enough, it directs them to my Twitter.
I think that might have to do with your algorithm, because I Googled John Kong height and that's not what I got.
What did you get?
Detroit chef John Kong teams up with Funimation for ramen series from 2021.
Not my first content creation gig.
Yeah.
Actually, considering the fact that that was my first gig, the fact that it got like press behind it, pretty impressive, I would say.
Yes. And then the second search result is your shirtless photo.
Oh God. Okay.
Interview magazine.
Whoa.
Jon Kong's guide to making dumplings blow up on TikTok. And if you wanna see the photo that I'm talking about,
oh God,
just Google Jon Kong interview magazine, and you'll see a picture of John greased up, flexing, wearing nothing but an apron, while looking at the camera like, "You want some?"
That was such a fun day.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I love that publication. It's so iconic.
Yeah, you got some fierce photos out of it too.
I did.
Did you feel like you were like a gay sex symbol?
No, I just felt relevant, which is just nice. I was like, not Andy Warhol's interview magazine. I'm going to hold on to that for the rest of my life.
The Andy Warhol? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What have you eaten recently? Anything interesting?
Honestly, no. But I've been like hyper fixated on broccoli. I don't know why. Because we get like randomly hyper fixated on the ingredient.
It started with that Kush Booze recipe.
Yeah, the Malay broccoli.
Broccoli.
I've just been cooking broccoli like different way every day.
See, it's funny.
And I'm like, I should probably like eat more protein, but sometimes I just eat like a bowl of broccoli for dinner.
It's so funny because I'm so used to like mislabeling that dish and calling it Malay cauliflower that when I said broccoli, I had to stop for a second to make sure that I was saying broccoli. Mm-hmm. I keep misgendering.
Like when you call cabeza cabresa over and over, even in your videos.
I was like, "There's no R in there. What is wrong with me?" Ugh.
It's okay. That's what makes it beautiful. I did try like an interesting like upscale Thai food this week.
Oh.
And so one of my friends invited me to go because she was like invited by the restaurant to go. And the restaurant was beautiful. When we went, it almost looked like a giant steakhouse that got turned into like a Thai restaurant.
Oh.
Like the layout and the inside of like the restaurant completely looked like a steakhouse.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the food was pretty good. We traveled like quite far for it, and because LA has like so much like Thai food that's amazing, that like it's really hard to like stand out unless you're like really really amazing. But the presentation and everything was good, but the experience was just a little weird.
How is it weird?
So I guess the restaurant like invited her because my friend does marketing and stuff like that. So they're like, "Oh, we're like launching the Father's Day like Wagyu like menu special. So like, could you come here, like and try it and film it, and then like try other dishes you want?"
I'm so sick of Wagyu, but go on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wagyu is so overrated. Like Wagyu is like the new like. What's a good comparison? I just hate like with people slapping the word Wagyu on it and then charging like $24, and then it doesn't taste anything special.
This is worth exploring. Like, what was the last thing that people would just put on top of stuff, and immediately it would be
uni
assumed to be better, and then
caviar.
Made more expensive. Caviar, yeah, but caviar.
Like, I mean, caviar is expensive, but then it'll just be like a tiny like teaspoonful of caviar, and it'll be like $60 upcharge.
Yeah, but Wagyu and I guess yes, I feel like they still came up around like the same time.
Mm-hmm. I think the very light version is like add an egg on top for $3.
Kind of, but I feel like a lot of the times the egg actually helps. The egg helps more than the Wagyu ever will.
Yeah.
We should open that question up to our followers. Like, what was the last? What was the Wagyu before it was Wagyu? And by that I mean like what is something that right now is in the culinary zeitgeist that is just the cheapest and laziest form of perceived luxury in food.
Yes. So anyways,
Wagyu is vegan leather.
So anyways, with the restaurant, and with the menu, we didn't really order that much. So we ordered like the salmon carpaccio and like the steamed fish, and then crab curry and
crab curry sounds nice. I love a crab curry.
Soft shell crab, yeah, curry.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
nice.
then like a little veggie spring roll appetizer thing, and then the server was like, "Oh, you should get the fried rice too because it looks beautiful." And we're like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good." You know,
looks beautiful versus that's a very interesting note.
Well, no, because she also mentioned that, because she was there to like film content, and stuff
okay,
like
that. Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, what a.
Yeah, no. But anyways, and then after we ordered, the server comes back and be like, "Oh, just so you know, like the sauce used in like salmon carpaccio and the steamed sea bass is like the same. So instead of like the salmon carpaccio, why don't I just give you the mango fish for like something different?" And then I was like, "Sure, yeah, that sounds great." Listen to the server. And then when the fish came, the mango fish was actually like a fried fish.
Okay.
With like a syrupy, like a mango dipping sauce.
Almost like a fish and chips?
You kind of, yeah. Okay. But like when you're like in the mood for something
fried,
like fresh,
Yeah.
And when you get fried food,
yeah.
I was just like, this is completely different from like what we ordered, you know? But whatever, it's fine, And then we ate other stuff. We ate the crab entree and like the fresh spring roll. And the server was like, "Oh, should I bring out dessert now?" And we're like, "Oh, we haven't gotten everything we ordered yet." And she's like, "Oh, well, actually, you only get like these things. And I didn't want you to pay extra, so I just like canceled it for you." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
What the hell?
In our
what place is this?
And like, okay, first of all, like, we were invited to be there, to make content for the restaurant,
Yeah, for sure.
And literally the person told you, like, order whatever you want. And we didn't even order that much. And, you basically gave us this fried fish that we didn't want.
Yeah.
And then you assumed that we couldn't pay for the other dishes, and then you just canceled.
Why wouldn't they ask you first, or even tell you instead of just say like, "Oh, you're done here"? Like, that's so crazy.
And the whole experience like left such like a weird taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
it's like, first of all, like I have no problem like paying like for the meals. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Maybe they had like such bad experiences with.
I mean, I'm assuming there was like a severe like miscommunication between like
has to have been
like how the restaurant like takes care of like the marketing people. I don't know, like you're being stingy over like an entree and like an appetizer. It's like maybe you shouldn't be inviting people to begin with,
right? Well,
I'm like, had the server mentioned like, "Oh, the restaurant like allotment is only like this much," and we're like, "Oh, that's fine. Like we can pay for it,
Yeah,
and we still would have ordered it,
and they would have had more like content and stuff.
Yeah, but not just.
I think because like so many restaurants are just scared of content creators and like by extension influencers, who are just so used to like gaming the system, trying to get as much free stuff as possible.
Yeah.
They have to take like a heavy hand, but some people understandably have are just non-confrontational about it. And so instead of like, saying, "Hey, you'll have to pay for these dishes though, just so you know," they just would rather like be like, "Oh no, we're done, thanks."
But just because they don't want to hiring a marketing person, and then you shouldn't be having the marketing person inviting like these content creators.
Right. I mean, like it's also like that where it's like you just have to. Communication is 90% of it, and if you say what you mean, and you're you make sure that there's no room for misinterpretation, it'll be fine. But
yeah.
That being said, we did have an episode of this podcast where we were like shitting on the worst of the types of people in our field of work. So
I mean, yes, and they exist too.
Yes,
you know,
they exist. They do exist too. So I understand why people would on both sides be working defensively, but let's not like ruin the whole industry and relationship based on the shitty acts of a few restaurants and a few content creators. Just you know what? Just do your research and make sure the people that you hire to do both your content and the place that you eat are good people. So there you go. Easy.
There, John. Just like that, John saved your restaurant industry.
I fixed it.
You're welcome.
Just like your toilet light. I fixed that too.
So this is not food related, but I thought this was a very interesting thing to bring up.
What?
So Pokemon is doing like open contest to find art for their next like set of Pokemon cards that's coming out. So then artists from all over the world are submitting like their art for a chance to like be chosen for, you know, like to be a Pokemon card, which is like a really cool idea. But also I guess that would be considered spec work, which is also kind of like predatory because instead of hiring like actual artists. That's
exactly what I was thinking. I was like, just because you're an iconic brand
and there will be a ton of artists, you know, who jump at the chance, you know.
So many people.
But it is it's a very predatory thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Because they're like, oh, we can get a ton of all these submissions without paying a single dime or paying minimally.
Totally.
But a lot of people do want the bragging rights for it. So
they totally do. I get it. And that's like saying like, you know, like a designer house opening up their things to design to like drag queens and be like, oh, if you can give us a turnover a great look, then we can like supply you over with a sponsorship or something like that. It's just so much. I hate spec work.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. Yeah,
I get it if you're a fan and this makes you super excited, but as a person who's just like all about being paid for your labor, this makes me so mad.
Absolutely. But this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, there's more.
So they released a list of like the top 300 people, and then people are like voting, I guess, or something for the ones to be made into like an actual card. But a bunch of entries are AI generated.
Oh shit!
Made under a fake name.
Oh man!
And some of them are very obviously AI too.
Yeah.
And a lot of the artists who actually submitted like really good, like cool, like artwork, like for this wasn't even chosen.
Huh?
Which is shocking.
Shocking, and also, you can't copyright AI art. So like they'll have these cards and stuff like that, but then you can actually just use those images for whatever because AI generated art isn't subject to copyright protection.
Yeah, so a bunch of artists were like sharing this and they're like mad about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I feel like someone in Pokemon is probably getting fired over this.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you pick like 300 like entries and you know, you can even like scope out some of the artwork that's clearly like obviously AI.
You know what? It's probably what happened was there were probably like tens, hundreds of thousands of entries to go through that I wouldn't be surprised if they just did like a zoom out and had all of them like look super small and just been like, yep, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Scroll down a whole bunch. That looks pretty good.
But like, something on Pokemon level, you know, I mean, it is what, and just almost kind of like tarnishes, you know, because it is the biggest character licensing brand like in the world.
God, totally.
And with the amount of money like Pokemon rakes in, they could have easily had like a really solid team of people like look over every entry.
Yeah, for sure. Like you could have hired like a team of like 50 or 100 people to go down and then like do a couple of selects and then like compare their selects to their own to each other's, and then that could have been that. But with something like this, I mean, like if you got like some intern to scroll through like hundreds of thousands of images, fuck.
Yeah. So But this story is currently in development, so we'll see.
I hope one of the ones that win is like a crayon drawing drawn by a 4-year-old, though. Like a really good one. That would be so cute.
I mean, some of them are really cool. Like some of them, people like made like sculptures of like the Pokemon, and they like photographed it. Like our friend Mammalbot, who also designed our podcast logo, he submitted an entry too, and then he shared on his Instagram story, which looked really good. So yeah, justice for these artists, but also, it's crazy. I went to like a musical last week, and the musical was really good. It's Reefer Madness, the musical.
Oh, nice.
Which is like based off of like the movie musical. And if you've never seen it, even if you like don't smoke weed, it's worth watching because it's just like a really fun, good musical. There was like a propaganda film that was made in the 1930s, and that movie also like huge influence, like weed becoming like illegalized. So they took that propaganda film and they turned it into a musical. Kristen Bell's in it, like Nev Campbell's in it. There's like a lot of famous people that are in this movie, and they all kill it. And the pacing and the songs are really good. But anyways, so the actual musical came to LA, but all the promotional materials and everything is all AI generated.
Oh no!
And then it's very obviously AI generated too, because of the fucked up hand, because AI can't like make good hands for some reason. Yeah. And like, that's like on their website, and I'm like, why didn't you just like take your cast and take a photo?
Are you serious?
Instead of making like
you
AI generated
right now.
Let me go check. Reefer Madness musical. Oh, they replaced all the AI photos with actual photos now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's so funny. Okay, so I guess maybe they needed the footage before, like they could.
Yeah.
But even then, you could have just like set up like a photo shoot day, you know, like, because when I went and saw it, like, I couldn't find any reviews out of it because it was like so new.
Yeah.
And there were no pictures, but yeah.
I've only seen like some good instances of AI being used by artists, but everything else has always been like so bad.
Yeah, there's also like a restaurant in Chinatown, Chicago, that like put up a sign, and then it's like AI image of like a lady eating like a noodle, but you can tell that it's AI because her like fingers are fucked up again. And
why can't people see that? Why isn't that?
Yeah, how do you notice that? How do you turn this into like a big giant like blow up sign for your business?
How do you not look at that stuff before? It was an AI that approved it?
Maybe
the AI was like, that is a perfectly normal person with perfectly normal hands.
And then the other day, someone on TikTok posted like this like AI generated image of like their K-pop idols, where like they look all like shirtless and sexy. But then at first I was like, wow, I can't believe like they took such like a scandalous photo until you look at one of their hands. Okay, I just sent you the photo. I want you to take a look at it and zoom in on the member on the far right and look at his hand.
On the far right?
Yeah.
This is not these tiny hands. He's got like Trump's tiny hands.
It's like a giant muscular body and then like tiny fucked up fingers.
Oh no. Oh, you should put this on the stories. And I love how they're hiding the rest of the people in the front. Like, oh, put that one in this pocket. Oh, put that one, put a sock over that one. They got the other hands on the other side pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers.
But I hope like AI doesn't ever figure out how to make like correct fingers, because it's becoming so easy for people to like fake celebrity photos with like AI image.
Although
like, do you ever get like the those like scam celebrity ads online? Where it's like, hi, I'm Selena Gomez and I'm giving away like free Le Creuset. But it's like AI generated.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, give us your info for a chance to win Le Creuset like pots, but like it's a scam.
Yeah. And the fact that the platforms just let them exist there.
Yes,
crazy.
the platforms like are allowing these scam ads.
Yeah.
That uses like the likeness of celebrities.
That's crazy. Like, because they can't get sued for it.
And then I was like reading the comments of those, and people are like, I submitted my info, but like I didn't hear anything back. And I'm like, you just got scammed.
Yeah.
And there are people that's actually falling for this. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like some law probably needs to like go into effect to like regular AI usage, but
it's the wild, wild west again.
But it's going to be like guns where, you know, people that profit off of AI just like pay off the government and then nothing ever gets done.
Well, hopefully we'll regulate this shit before it gets to that point, but I know that's not going to.
In America, like...
Yeah, I know. Hellscape.
We can even cease fire, you know? Like...
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, state of the world is it's a bleak one. Mm-hmm. Anyways, child, we have listener questions.
Oh, good.
Hi, Kim and John. Love your podcast. I'm Iranian and Swedish, and I'm wondering if you've had any Iranian cuisine or Swedish cuisine, and if there's anything you enjoyed or not enjoyed. So I've had Swedish food. I feel like a lot of the Swedish food actually works really well, like with the Korean palate. Mm-hmm. But my knowledge of like Swedish food doesn't really go past IKEA.
Okay.
But there's like a lot of like pickled vegetables, pickled fish, and then, you know, meatballs, potatoes, and things like that. But I wouldn't say like I'm an expert in Swedish food. And then Iranian food. I've been to an Iranian restaurant here in LA. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a really like fragrant rice. And then it was like a kebab situation. It was very like I guess I'm not really too familiar with Iranian food either.
Well, I've had tadig.
Mm-hmm. And I've made tadig before.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly easy.
It is. And it's like so nice because it's like so much of the best parts of rice that you get with it. That honestly might be it. The thing is, I don't think we have a lot of like Iranian restaurants here.
Mm-hmm. So sorry we can't give you a satisfying answer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we don't know much about Swedish and Iranian cuisine, but if you have recommendations and dishes that we have to try, please do submit them, and we will try it.
And I might even try making some.
Oh, yes. Yeah, do that. Remember, like, I'll go buy some.
Oh, wait,
John, like,
dolma.
I'll cook some.
Dolma. I've had tons of dolma.
But like, so many different cultures have dolma. So
I know, it's true. So I've had a lot of Middle Eastern food and Middle Eastern cuisine, but like in the context of how you eat it here in Metro Detroit, I don't know exactly where it's from. I don't know if it's like Arabic or Lebanese or Persian or any of that. Like, so it's like, I get it. I eat it. I know exactly what it is when I see it and people tell me what it is and I love it. But I was like, as far as like the individual countries, like what the dishes are, I'm so like ignorant as to like the intricacies of where each like dish actually comes from, because just like dishes like in just like Chinese dishes where it's like, you know, even Cantonese restaurants will serve mapo tofu. Mm-hmm. And somebody all their life can just go to this Cantonese restaurant and just think that maybe mapo tofu is a Cantonese dish. It's obviously not. I mean, they have it in Japan. Like, so yeah, like it's that very much that situation where it's like, I don't know the history behind each dish, so I don't really know. But then somebody will be like, yeah, you've had such and such, you've had dolma and you love that shit. And I was like, I do.
So what John is trying to say is all of you are the same, which is a very problematic take.
My God.
So, please send him hate through his DMs.
And as I was like just fully admitting my ignorance to this, I could see Kim's like horns just get bigger, and as she turned into that purple faced devil emoji.
The purple faced devil emoji.
Yeah. The smiling one.
How dare you? You're like that smirk emoji, like that.
I am always the smirk emoji.
The bear smirk.
The bear smirk.
All right. Hi, Kim and John. Love your podcast. Listening since the first episode. Oh my God, you've been with us through the thick and thin. It's so comforting and fun. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. No, never mind. I don't need to say it.
I was very happy to hear that you both like Peruvian food. Our cuisine has influence from different cultures, and we do a lot of fusion cuisine. My question for you is, what fusion cuisine that you haven't tried or seen before that you'll be curious to try? Okay, so I'll go first. You know what I think? I don't know if this exists, but I feel like German-Japanese would be an interesting fusion, because imagine like a schnitzel, but like katsu schnitzel.
Yeah.
And then instead of like a Japanese potato salad, a German potato salad, that could be like interchangeable.
I feel like that they do have a potato salad, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
but
like
it's like different prep. Like one is like mayo and one is more like vinegar mustard.
Okay. That's a good one.
I feel like that could be like, there could be something like interesting there.
Yeah.
Korean and Szechuan food actually fuses pretty well.
I know.
I haven't tried it. We haven't tried it yet, but like a really popular thing in Korea right now is like mala tteokbokki.
I want to do more of like we were gonna go to that one. We're gonna go back to that one restaurant and do their mala. What's it called? The pork hock or the pork foot?
Yeah, the mala pork foot. That would be really good. So yeah, Korean and Szechuan cuisine probably fuses well. I think that could be really interesting to try. I feel like Thai food and Mexican will fuse well too, because there's a lot of ingredients that cross over.
Yeah,
like charred meat, lime, cilantro. Like a lot of those ingredients are common in both cuisine. So you could definitely be made some cool things with that.
I'm actually just looking at a map right now. I'm looking at borders in between countries and thinking like what cool.
I feel like Ethiopian and Indian could be fused too.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like looking at like Ethiopia and Somalia right there, and I was like looking how it just kind of points directly at India, and I was like, at any point in time did like a ship go in between these places and they just like cook together? Like,
because like Ethiopian food is like a lot of like spiced stew as well.
I'm sure they've had like thousands of years of like influences between the two. Well,
the Rodriguez flood method was just like, that already exists.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean,
like, we're not trying to invent.
We're not trying to invent anything. We're just saying like, I'm assuming that Indian, like, I know for a fact that Indian/Mexican fusion restaurants exist. I haven't had it yet. I've had maybe like the concept of like butter chicken on a taco. But like as far as like a full spread with like the mole fantasy with the rice and all of that, like I want to get like a full course tasting menu of whatever these fusions would be, and not just like the greatest hits.
Yeah. And I just feel like making something a taco,
it's so easy.
It's kind of like a lazy fusion.
It is the laziest fusion.
And a lot of times, and I find like a lot of the fusion tacos to be overly seasoned or salty.
Or unbalanced.
And I'm saying that like, not because like I can't handle it, but a lot of times, like when you get meat in a taco, it's seasoned, but it's not like...
It's fresh. It tastes it's fresh tasting.
Yeah.
It's also full of spices and herbs.
But like a lot of these like Korean taco fusions that I've tried, where like the Korean barbecue meat that's like been marinated in Korea, like it's meant to be eaten with rice. So you need like some rice to like soak up all the sodium and all that. But taco shell does not do that. So then I feel so thirsty and salty like after eating these like fusion tacos.
If you're a Korean restaurant that is making some kind of tacos, let me like help you out with this problem, because I had the exact same problem when coming up with my Shanghainese smoked fish tacos for my book. And I found that instead of just like serving the thing just drenched in the sauce, drizzling the sauce on top is more than enough. and counterbalancing whatever like super strong thing you're putting it on. I put mine on a slaw inside the taco, so you had a lot of like fresh, creamy goodness to counterbalance all of like that soy sauce and sugar and spice.
And also maybe like don't overly salt it. I mean, salt is important for it to taste good.
You don't need to. A taco should taste like, it should always have like a very strong component of like freshness to it. It should be refreshing. It's never heavy.
And also not every component needs to be overly salty.
Yeah, unless you're talking about like, I guess, Tex-Mex tacos where it's like tons and tons of cheese. But even then, like, that's cheese.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, like a good taco is just like the most refreshing thing. And I think people lose sight of that.
Yeah. Like I've also had like Indian like fusion tacos. And also I found those to be too salty too.
Which is crazy because like,
and I'm not like so salt
Indian
sensitive.
And Korean, yeah. They have like they have a really good grasp of counterbalancing fresh elements, but for some reason when they're trying to put it in a taco, they just lose sight of it.
Yeah. Also, chefs love salt.
They do.
Like,
they do.
A little too much.
If the food is like smoky across the board, sometimes I just assume like somebody in the staff is like smoking. The person who's like tasting the food is like a smoker because like they love salt so much as a result.
And also, I love those like fancy flaky sea salt. Like I think they taste great. They add a lot to the dish, but also not every dish needs it.
No, although let me put you on to something. I went to a salt dinner when I was in New York, and it was hosted by this group that exports Cornish sea salt from the UK. They are also famous for Maldon salt. But this salt is so good. Like it's crumbly, it's big, but then you put it on food and it just disappears into the dish, but it makes it taste so much better. It's so good. I'm gonna try to get some.
Yes, send them my way. I welcome you with open arms. All right, so this is our podcast for the week, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. John, do you have anything you want to push?
Do I? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm giving you the opportunity to use our platform for the greater good.
For the greater good? I don't know. I probably like released a video today. It would be great if you watched.
Yeah, but don't just watch it. Dislike it.
No.
I'm kidding. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any listener questions, please submit them to our Instagram, 1 for the table. That is number 1 for the table.
Bye.
Peace out.